effectively to both collaborate, communicate, and just all around spread information, I think is a useful skill. And through this kind of method, I definitely have benefited from it. So I would say that's a good side effect of doing this. Now, my last question is this worth doing? Is this system worth creating? Now, I believe yes. I believe, for the reason I stated further, this would not cost an excessive amount of funding. I believe that the benefits from this in terms of the students would be very useful in terms of those people who have to be temporarily out, or if they have to quarantine, or future health concerns were to, in fact, be a problem. And also, I think this wouldn't be too much extra work, especially for teachers. It would essentially be people who are out are essentially there without being there. That's the only difference. And also, this could make the Portland school system even more desirable for individuals from other areas to attend, because we have so many options. So I think that would make the system more desirable for that reason. And with that, I think I finished the reasoning for my case.
Excellent. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
You indicated that you felt that you had benefited from distance learning throughout the pandemic. What were the benefits that you've got from that?
I believe the benefits are I could do my regular schoolwork, but also have ample amounts of free time to pursue my own endeavors, which I have been currently doing. I think that has benefited myself. I also am someone who is more anxious in social situations, and it's harder for me to work under conditions, especially with other people around. So having to do all my work with essentially no one around, just in my own house, has worked out well for me.
Drew, I have a question. Would you see an ability to collaborate? Were you able to collaborate during this year with other students in the remote?
Whenever it was needed, it was manageable.
Okay.
Drew, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yes.
I'm getting texts from some folks that they may not be able to hear us. They work its way out. Sorry, it's because we're this is only our second time with the technology here. Interesting enough that you're and folks weren't able to hear us, but I think we're square now. Sorry, Magda.
No, that's quite all right. So you were able to collaborate, and do you see that collaboration is an important part of a 21st century skill for students going forward, even if you were working remotely across oceans?
I think it's an essential skill for any era to work together with other people, and in this way, it may not be as simple to do so, but it is definitely still possible.
Thank you. You put a lot of thought into this, and thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Any other questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
There may be other audiences.
Anyone else like to address the board?
Doesn't look like there's any at this time. I apologize. Can you put the agenda for the next meeting, if that's possible? This topic of continued distance learning?
We can talk about that when we get to board member comments. Do we have any student reps here too?
Sean Lafferty. Yeah,
Sean's here, yeah.
Oh, Sean. Hi, Sean. How's your summer?
Hi everyone, good to see you.
Hello. Hi, Sean.
If you hear any background noise, I'm sorry. My cat is being loud.
She's not on a piano.
I'm actually not here as a student rep tonight. I'm just here to answer any questions about something that's coming up later in the agenda. But since I am here right now, I hope you're all having a great summer despite not so ideal weather. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys regularly in the fall.
As we are you. We will wait to hear from you later. Okay, communications and updates.
Okay, so few communications for you. I included them with your information. It's in the Google Drive. So we did have some resignations. Alyssa Flynn, our speech and language pathologist, she has resigned. I included her letter in your information. She has found a job that is, she's a new mother, and has found a job that's a little closer to home and closer to her child's daycare. So we wish Alyssa well and continued success in her new position. Did also receive a letter of resignation from Jenna Hebert. Jenna is a paraprofessional at Valley View. Wish her well in her new teaching position, and congratulations, Jenna. Also have a email of resignation for you from Rob Rains. Rob is our social studies teacher at Portland Middle School. Yep, he finished his 092 and was aggressively and passionately searching for an administrative position, and happy to report that he found one as an assistant principal at a school in Massachusetts. So wish Rob well in his continued career endeavors. Also, I did include the letter that Drew wrote to the board requesting a continuation of distance learning at Portland High School in particular. I'm going to address that when I give you some of my updates and give you a sense of what the requirements are and what our thinking is at this time about that. And then certainly, if you'd like me to keep it on the agenda as something for us, I'd be happy to do that. We can address that in the board member comments for sure. And then finally, do have an invitation for you. I am going Thursday night to see Matilda. As you know, this year the Middletown Stage Theater Group has rented our facilities. I'm going to talk a little bit about all the summer programs that I'm seeing in our schools, and boy, they're pretty impressive. I did see a couple of dress rehearsals and things that they did. It looks like it's a great show. As a function of their appreciation for us providing that, they have offered our administrators and board members a complimentary ticket to Matilda this Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, and I did include that notice for you. So if you'd like a ticket, Ali Sinecrop, the director of that theater company, asks that you fill out this form and get it here and pick the night that you want to go. So that's this weekend. And I've seen the movie Matilda. I'm looking forward to seeing it on stage, and I'm going to be bringing my daughter, who's a theater person and loved the movie. So those are my communications for the board. Some notes for you. So I do want to go over several things that I'm sure you'll find interesting, and certainly would be happy to go into as much detail as you'd like to know about. So my first update for you is on the awesome summer programs that are going on in the district. I felt like the first week of July was maybe our third or fourth reopening of the year. The schools are back to life, right? So one of the dreams of my career is that we start to break down the paradigm of 10-month schooling. You know, I think learning is something that should last throughout the summer. So this is, as you know, our third summer that we're offering a summer enrichment activities for all students that we're using Google Classroom, and teachers are hired to provide some enriching activities for summer literacy program at Gildersleeve. We have 42 students enrolled in that program. It was great to see them all roll into Gildersleeve last week, and I visited the program several times over the past couple days, and it's exactly what we were hoping it would be, which is a meaningful experience for our students. In grades 5 through 8, we have our academic enrichment program going at Portland Middle School. We have, on a given day, 25 to 30 students who are enrolled and participating in that, and it's going really well. I spoke with the director of that program, Michelle Ianello, today, and she informed me, and I've seen it myself, that students are having a great experience and are enjoying it. At the high school level, as you know, we're running a credit recovery program. We're doing that in collaboration with Middletown. We're offering one course here in-house, but what's neat about this program is for our students who are attending the Middletown program is online. But the students are going to Portland High School and being supported by one of our teachers as they engage in that online coursework. So it's a great way for us to help keep the students on track and make sure that they're satisfying the requirement of Middletown's program by supporting them in-house. It's a really clever model. Michelle and the counseling staff came up with it, and from what I hear, it's going well. In grades K through 4, our ESY program is running. We have 60 students enrolled in that. And in grades 5 through 12, our ESY program is running at the high school, middle school, and we have 30 students enrolled in that. So the schools are alive with learning, and that's wonderful, and it's something we're going to be able, we have, as you know, the funding, the federal funding, to run summer programs like this next summer and the year after. So I think by the end of our third summer of doing this, we're going to be at a point where I think we are tearing down the summer wall, right? That we are going to, hopefully at that point, be ready to pick it up as a locally funded endeavor and continue to support learning throughout the school year. I think this is a first step in the right direction and may be one of the most significant silver linings that has come out of this pandemic.
Do you have a cost analysis right now for what it's costing us for this, all these wonderful programs?
I will break it down for you. Rough sketch, about $120,000.
That's about,
Yep, $120,000. So in addition to all of the programs we're running, our schools are also hosting, as you know, the Park and Rec Summer Camp. Was up there, and the kids are having a great time with that. And Middletown Stage Company, of course, has been renting the facilities and are putting forth a production of Matilda. I do want to let you know that the director of the Middletown Stage Company approached me right before her program started and let me know that her enrollment was down a little. And the reason that her enrollment was down a little is because she got a late start on getting things organized because you know, we just didn't know what the summer was going to bring and whether we were going to be able to get back in person. She did ask me if I would be willing to discount the rental fee, and if we weren't able to discount it, she wasn't going to be able to run the program. So I did. I did give her a little break on the price, so the rental fee that she's going to pay is slightly lower than what we negotiated. But in fairness, she's offering an awful lot of scholarships, including to Portland students. I felt like it was the right thing to do, and I really wanted to see the arts come to Portland this summer, so I did agree to that. So it's not a huge discount, but I did work with her so that it could be cost effective for her to run the program. Okay, any questions on any of the summer programs or things that are happening?
It might be too early to ask this, but I'm curious what participation is like in the online component that's available, you know, K through 11.
Let me get back to you on that. I think that would be a great presentation at our September board meeting.
Great.
After the summer's over, I'll have Corey and Alicia, who are the directors of that program, come and give you an update, both in terms of how many students participated and in a look at the kind of activities that the students were involved in.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, update on hiring. I'm happy to report that the pool of certified and non-certified professionals that we had a look at this spring was outstanding. We had some really high-quality candidates come forward for our openings. At our August meeting, I'll give you a bio of all of the new teachers. But so far, we have hired a new grade 2 teacher, a new grade 1 teacher, a part-time social studies teacher at the high school, a school psychologist, a clinician for Valley View Elementary School, a middle school math teacher, a social worker, clinician for the Bridges program. Just to let you know, as you know, the Wheeler program is now called the Bridges program because we've ended our relationship with Wheeler and are now staffing that in-house. So that's the Bridges program now. We've also hired a middle school administrative assistant and an administrative assistant for Brownstone Intermediate School. We have several positions that we still need to fill. We have a 1-year only reading interventionist position, assuming of course that you approve the leave of absence request that you're going to review tonight. We have a middle school science position that we need to fill. We have a special ed teaching position at Valley View, a speech and language pathologist, now that Alyssa has resigned, and then at least one paraprofessional position that we need to fill. So we have 5 positions that we still need to fill. Interviews are happening this week and next week, except for we just posted the middle school science teaching position. But I expect that we'll have all of those positions filled well before the start of the school year.
would you just clarify now that the Wheeler Clinic is known as Bridges, and so is the program at Brownstone?
So hold on.
Okay.
The Wheeler is now the Harbor program.
Harbor,
It's
okay,
my
that's,
fault.
that's
Thank you.
okay, I
Yeah.
wanted to,
I remember it now this way. The
Okay.
Brownstone program is the Bridge program,
Bridges.
and the Harbor program is at the high school, and it's the
I see.
bridge to the harbor, right? So,
Okay.
that's,
Good.
thank you for correcting me, I misspoke.
I thought there was a different name, but then I thought, well, maybe they changed,
No,
okay, thank you.
You are correct.
That's good.
Good
Thank you.
catch, thank you. All right, so I do want to let you know about some exciting new grants that we have a potential to receive. So 2 weeks ago, we received from the FCC a new grant called the Connectivity Grant. This is a grant from the FCC that we could receive reimbursement for web-enabled devices, i.e. Chromebooks, or hotspots, or other things that would be necessary to provide students remote learning options, if we ever had to go back to that, God forbid. So, as you know, we just went forward with a lease for 525 new Chromebooks. We are going to apply as part of this connectivity grant for $210,000 and hopefully use that money to offset the lease that we're applying for. So keep your fingers crossed. I know Eric and I are working hard on that grant. We're also working with our it's called E-Rate, our E-Rate consultant. So we're getting all of the information together to apply for that grant. It is due August 12th. We'll have it done well before that. And we're going to ask for reimbursement for 525 devices, which would be $210,000, because we can seek reimbursement for up to $400 per device. So fingers crossed, that would be pretty outstanding if we were able to secure that funding.
Can that FCC grant also be used for the microphone upgrade at the middle school auditorium?
No.
It's not
No,
included,
it's,
okay.
nope.
All right.
Second grant that just came online and we're applying for is a school improvement grant offered by the Connecticut State Department of Education. We are going to apply for, Eric and Ryan are working on the details of that, somewhere between $90,000 and $100,000 for a potential for a second math interventionist at Gildersleeve Elementary School and some resources and professional development in mathematics instruction for Gildersleeve. Again, this is hot off the press. We just got the notification that this grant exists. We're working hard to put together all of the specs and things that we need to do to apply for that. So potential for up to $210,000 in reimbursement for the Chromebooks and $90,000 to $100,000 for program improvements and intervention in mathematics specifically geared towards Gildersleeve. So fingers crossed on both of those, and I'll certainly keep you posted as we go forward and pursue that funding. I'm still waiting to hear on the school security grant that I mentioned last time. And of course, you know, we're working on the application for the ESS ER3 grant. So Stephanie and I did open the grant. We did post all of the information that we needed to get that started. That grant's not due till the end of August. But even though the funding is essentially there for us, we do still have to go through the process of identifying how we intend to spend it. So all those things are in the work. Great opportunities to supplement our budget and do some great new things, and I will keep you posted as we go forward after that funding.
Great. Sounds good.
Good. Got a couple more things. So, reopening update, and this is a follow-up to the email Dave sent me. I just wanted to see if there were any follow-up questions. Just so everybody is aware, all of our planning this summer is assuming that we are fully returning to school in person 5 days a week. We're not planning any remote or hybrid or different models of instruction. We're going back to pre-pandemic K through 12 teaching and learning 5 days a week. With respect to Drew's presentation, we will not be running the PVLA, the online option, next year. My feeling is that we have learned a lot from the grant. I agree with Drew that in some narrow situations, there may be some opportunities for us to use that. But that would be on a case-by-case basis and would often come in the form of either short-term or longer-term needs, like, as Drew mentioned, a student is injured or has a medical condition that they might like us to provide cameras in classroom and access to the instruction remotely. Those would be handled on a case-by-case basis, potentially as part of 504 plans or special education programming, but it's not something that we're going to just offer anybody who wants it for any reason. It would have to be done in consultation with our counselors, school psychologists, administrators, on case-by-case basis. Okay. I was hoping to be able to come to you today with information from the State Department of Education and DPH about the new CDC guidelines with masks and how that's going to influence Connecticut's decisions about what school looks like when we reopen in September. I forwarded you an email yesterday that I got from the commissioner saying that the state has asked for one more week to digest that. So next Tuesday, July 20th, I will be on a call with the Department of Public Health and the State Department of Education. I expect that we'll get an update from them about masks and all of the different requirements that they're gonna ask us to put in place. I'm sure it will be a news item on next Tuesday night's news, so you can watch it there. Otherwise, I'll take that information, digest it, share it with our leadership team and school nurses, get any other input from Russ at the local level, and certainly be prepared to share it with the community and you once that becomes public information. Any questions about any of that? Okay, we're rolling. A couple more things. I do want to update you on our first of 2 leadership retreats that I did with the administrators last week. It was a great week. We had a 3-day retreat. The first day, I want to talk to you a little bit about, and I can give you as much information as you'd like, or potentially maybe this is something I can bring up with the Buildings and Grounds Subcommittee. On day 1 of our meeting, we talked about school security, right? So now that the pandemic's over, we can talk about keeping kids safe and our faculty and staff safe in ways that aren't related to viruses, right? That's particularly all the things we do, right, with lockdowns and fire drills and all of those challenges. So we talked a lot about school security. We are going to be changing our school security approaches from the Portland model to the Middletown model, okay? Middletown has a emergency response plan that all of the Middletown schools use and is developed in close collaboration with the Middletown Police Department and Emergency Response. We're going to adopt Middletown's model. The reason for that is because if there was ever an incident in one of our schools and we called in the cavalry, Portland PD would come and so would Middletown. They would be coming across the bridge just as fast as the Portland PD and they would likely get here around the same time. So in collaboration with a gentleman who's been amazing named Detective Porter, who's on the Middletown PD, he's been advising us and we're collaborating with the Portland Police Department and the Middletown Police Department to tighten our relationship with Middletown and bring us all onto the same page so we're acting as sort of a regional response model. So we talked a lot about that and the training and things we're going to need to do differently to conform to Middletown's emergency response planning. In addition, we talked about a new visitor check-in system called Raptor. All right. Anybody who enters our school next year is going to have to present their driver's license at the office. We're going to scan that driver's license in the Raptor system. The Raptor system is going to check that individual's driver's license against sex offender registries, Connecticut Police Department, Connecticut State Police, I don't know what it is, bad person list.
Criminal database.
Criminal database, right. So it scans anybody who's trying to come into our school. If they are on the sex offender registry or in the database maintained by the FBI or Connecticut State Police, it prints out a very nice sticker for them with their picture and the time they arrived and where they're going. We're going to ask them to wear it. If they are flagged in some way as somebody who would not be allowed to be around children, we will know that immediately and then, of course, ask them to no longer be on our school premises. So that system is called Raptor. A lot of discussions about how we're going to roll that out. We started piloting it, but I think it's certainly going to be an upgrade to keeping track of who's coming into and out of the school and what individuals shouldn't have access to children.
The only question, can I ask a question? The safety of the person who's now scanning the driver's license could be at risk.
Yep, we
So
have had that check.
That's being, okay.
Yep,
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep. And there are things we are going to do in that case that I'm not prepared to share publicly.
Absolutely.
So, any other questions about Raptor?
Do these, can I ask, these 2 changes, the new Middletown model and the Raptor system, do they come with additional costs or fees that we should know about?
We've already taken care of the Raptor costs. The next one I'm going to talk to you about does, though. All right.
Okay.
So, Middletown, no cost. Raptor, we've already paid for. Okay. The Middletown model, I just want to say publicly, the gentleman, his name is Detective Sergeant Porter from the Middletown Police Department, has given us hundreds of hours of his time without charging us. I can't thank him enough publicly. So hopefully he'll hear that we were talking about, maybe his ears are ringing now. I've thanked him several times, but if we had to pay for the services that he provided us, he went and visited all of our grounds, did this incredible audit of our buildings. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars we would have had to pay, but he did it for free. And I can't thank him and the Middletown Police Department enough for giving us his time like that. Next system we talked about is called Navigate 360. You can Google it, you can look at it online. This system is an app-based system. You can put it on everybody's phone, and it would enable everybody to report emergencies in real time and potentially, if necessary, if somebody were to observe a threat, lock down our buildings or communicate where the threat is. And we would potentially install this app on everybody's phone. I mean, bus drivers, secretaries, paraprofessionals, coaches, food service workers, anybody who is an adult with eyes and ears in our buildings and is receiving a paycheck from the Portland Board of Education would have the ability to report incidents in real time, including the potential of a threat that was perceived. Navigate 360 would also help us manage crises in real time. You know, if there was ever a lockdown, you know, teachers are pulling kids in out of the hallways or bathrooms, or, you know, if it happened during passing time, you know, we have all of our protocols that, you know, things would be chaotic. Raptor would allow teachers to take attendance in real time and record what students were gathering now, and it would all be organized for us as opposed to emailing or calling around. So Navigate 360 has the potential to help us manage emergencies more effectively. We're still in the investigatory look at it. I've called around. Newington Public Schools is using it. I've asked them about it. They said that it works as advertised. Taking a real hard look at Navigate 360, and that may become a central part of our school security plan for the fall. And then, of course, we talked a lot about how we would need to train our faculty in the Middletown model, in Raptor, in Navigate 360, and what we would need to do to make sure that we keep our students, faculty, and staff as safe as possible. So, that was day one. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I can go quickly for the rest of them. In the afternoon, we talked a little bit about student performance data. Eric Martin led us in a nice protocol to start looking at how well our students are doing. We'll be reporting that to you throughout the fall as we get a grip on our students' academic performance. Day two, I took the administrators and we went on a retreat. We engaged with a professional who helped us do some mindfulness activities. So we engaged in some mindfulness-based stress reduction activities. It was wonderful. It is something I'm all in on. It was a very nice day for us to spend together and get rebalanced. And then day three, we largely talked about ways that we can manage our schedules so we can prioritize our presence in classrooms and not in Google Meets or in our offices, which really did blow up exponentially last year. So we're looking forward to getting out of Zoom and out of Google Meet and back into the buildings. And we had some difficult but healthy discussions about time demands and how we can be more efficient so that the administrivia doesn't get in the way of our ability to be present for our students, faculty, and staff. It was a great week altogether. Last thing, and this is sad news. I'm not happy to share this with you, but I feel like I need to. So this summer, we committed to providing free breakfast and lunch for the last 2 weeks of June and the month of July. And what Stephanie and I said in collaboration with Sodexo was that we would look at how many breakfasts and lunches we were serving in July and make a decision about whether we would continue to offer breakfast and lunch in August. We were hoping that community demand and the presence of students at our camps and enrichment programs would provide a sufficient number of lunches for us to continue it. It has not. So we have made the decision not to offer free breakfast and lunch for August. So that's disappointing. I'm sorry to report that, but it's just not cost effective for us to continue throughout August. So we will offer breakfast and lunch for the rest of July, but we will discontinue that for August and then pick up when the school year starts again, of course. I know that was a lot, but I have a lot to share. All important stuff.
So in the fall, is it going to continue to be free breakfast and lunch?
I believe so. The federal government is still paying us the $3.50 for each lunch and $1.89 for each breakfast. I'm not sure when that's slated to end, but I'm sure it will continue at least through the fall. But, I'd have to ask Stephanie. I haven't heard or received any circular memos or notifications about when that will discontinue.
So there may be some insecurity with some of our students for food going into August. Are there any other entities, have we heard of any other entities that would pick up that slack in those cases?
So Stephanie and I today sent an email and communicated to the Housing Authority in particular and let them know about that. I did get one email back from them thanking us for providing the breakfast and lunches in June and July, and they are aware of it now.
Okay.
Specifically how they're planning to fill that gap, I don't know.
Charles?
Oh, Stephanie.
Hi.
Please stay.
It is gonna be free for all of the 2021-2022 school year.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, good, good. Thanks.
That's wonderful.
What's the cost?
Free.
What's the cost to us for
For
August?
running, yeah.
Okay, so, I do have those numbers. I can tell you that if we were to continue to run the lunches through August, we would run a deficit of about $20,000.
And that would be running it for just the parents who are calling in to order it ahead of time.
Yep. So we did run, just to make you aware, we did run that deficit, about that deficit for July. That's why we're,
So the government wasn't giving us money for the summer months?
no, they were, we just weren't putting out enough breakfast and lunches to break even.
Do parents not, I know it's a little confusing because I had a couple people ask me about how to order it and when to pick it up, and that seemed a little, last year it was they went up every day and got it. Now it's Monday and Tuesday, pick it up on Monday for Monday and Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is picked up on Wednesday.
Right.
So maybe that could be some part of the problem, I don't know. All right. And when do summer camps end? Because that may also affect.
Yep. So all of our summer programs end at the end of July.
Right,
The
and then-
theater camp is actually ending this week.
Okay.
And the Park and Rec runs through August.
All through August,
Yeah.
okay. Well, we have to-
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if the additional step of having to log in online to order the meals ahead of time, which didn't exist last summer, I wonder if that's preventing folks from accessing meals.
If they missed
The last
that.
summer, it was the same pickup schedule last summer where you picked up on Monday and on Wednesday, but you could just drop in.
It is confusing, the online placing an order.
Stephanie, you'd probably know, did we see a drop in breakfast and lunch from last summer to this summer?
We did, it was a lot higher last year, but it was a different situation last year. I do know they do have the ordering system because we didn't know what the need was gonna be. So we had people, so say Chatham Court, they said there was gonna be probably about 50 people, only 30 people have logged in. Everybody was given the directions on how to do it. I wouldn't necessarily say it would be that, but it did drop as the year progressed. And even during the school year when we were remote and hybrid for those certain months, it was still low also. And I think we went the meal route, the ordering route, because we didn't know how many to make, and they didn't want to purchase more food than they were going to use and then end up having to throw it out. Because there were a lot of times that they would make so many extra and then have a lot left over.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Does that conclude your report,
That's
Charles?
it, that concludes it, yep.
Next, we have new business. Our professional development retreat.
So I did put out the dates to you all, August 12th and August 19th. Those are both Thursdays, and they're from 6 to 7:30. I chose those dates because that's when the presenters said they were available, and their schedule was filling up pretty quick. The idea was Eric and I collaborated this year and did some work with our leadership team with two individuals named Patrice and Catrice from the Connecticut Center for School Change. They would be available, and I'd love to host them, to come talk to us with the themes of governing for equity on August 12th, and then supporting our community and discussing equity with stakeholders on August 19th. I did put out the survey to you. I did hear back from Tim. You said you were available on the 12th, but not the 19th. Meg, you said you were available both days. Laurel, you were available the 12th, but not the 19th. Sharon, you were available the 12th and then the 19th. I guess I would just entertain a discussion with those of you who didn't reply. Is that good? Should I book these folks? Is that how are those topics something that intrigue you, and is this something that you think we benefit from? And it would, of course, also be either attend by Zoom or in person. We could meet here, but Eric would join us, but I think our presenters will come by Zoom.
I mean, I think it sounds great. I'm unable to make the August 12th.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the idea of these trainings, and I think that, we've been talking about this for months now, and I think they're very important, and the people that you found to do this it sounds like this would be perfect for our board. I also know that I have another meeting on the 19th, so I would not be able to be here for the full event, which is disappointing. So I don't know. I don't know if we were to look at future dates, if they had more availability, if we look further out. I think it would be unfortunate for three of us to miss half of, half the training.
Well, I haven't heard from Chris. Dave, are you available on the 12th and the 19th?
I thought I responded, but I am. So.
You are for both?
Yeah.
Okay. So the way, I haven't heard from Chris, but the way it looks now, based on the survey and what I just heard, for the 16th, the only person I haven't heard from Chris is Lauren, who is not available. So that'll be one of us. And then for the 19th, I have Tim is not available, Meg is, Laurel is not, Sharon is, Lauren is, I haven't heard from Chris, and Dave is. So it's not terrible.
Are these gonna be recorded?
We could certainly record them.
So, members not available could at least watch.
And it's an hour and a half. I figured that was, enough time, but not too much.
Have you done any of this training already? And is it interactive? Is it something that would be effective to be recorded, or would it be kind of?
I think we could record it, and
It seems like this is similar along the lines of what we did with the coalition. Which Lauren and I both been through.
Yeah, have you met Patrice and Catrice? Did they came?
Patrice, I believe. What was the other name?
Catrice and Patrice.
One of them. Maybe Patrice?
They're the ones who were doing the equity group.
I just don't remember.
They're doing the coalition.
Yeah, they were doing.
It was really more of a workshop model with them, where they talked a little bit, we developed some statements, we went into breakout groups a lot. It was good.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, Eric and I had a conversation with them, and we sort of said, what is it that you would recommend in terms of Board of Education audience discussions, and this governing for equity, and then how we engage our community in discussions about equity. I think a lot of their thinking about those topics are a reflection of what we haven't heard here in Portland at the board level, but other towns are hearing about critical race theory, and people who may not completely understand or appreciate what equity means to us, and how we engage everybody in realistic discussions about this topic. So as they thought about this with us, they were more thinking of your audience as board members. I imagine that when they were engaging you in the work you were doing with Eric and the committee, they were gearing it more towards the audience of a committee that's working on this. So It may be similar, there's probably lots of crossovers in how they'll frame the discussion, but I think they're looking to frame the discussion in how you as leaders in the community and as elected representatives for them, you know, do this work. They were sharing some really cool ideas with Eric and me.
Sounds good to me.
It seems very timely.
Yep.
I think we should move forward with it since we
Yeah.
have a majority of members, and
Yep.
if somebody is somewhere and they can zoom in for some part of it.
And if you can't make it, we'll record it. and-
I am unwilling to
Yeah,
zoom in
I-
on vacation.
I know,
There.
and that's vacation,
Yep.
That's
absolutely.
vacation, you
No,
deserve it.
Absolutely.
Not doing it.
Well,
All
you've
right.
done.
Well, why don't I book it then? We'll mark those dates on your calendar, you know, and I will, let Patrice know to pencil us in, and, you know, certainly enjoy your vacation. Everybody completely understands, and I like the idea of recording it, and then you can see, and we can have follow-up discussions. Yep. Okay.
You're also calling it a retreat. Is that something that you want to schedule separately with you and the board members to just kind of have a conversation in the same way that you did for, with the administrators and, you know, last week? Would that be something, I mean, we talked about that over a period of time, just bringing board and you together to just regroup.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it certainly will be less formal than our meetings like this.
Oh, yes.
You know, I think we should do it here, though,
Oh,
because it does look like, go back and just write this down, but the folks who are gonna be Zooming are, no, everyone's in person. So we could find a nice location to, let me think about that.
All right, okay, all right.
All right, yeah, let me think about that. All right, so good, we're square there.
Mhm.
Okay. Old business. We have superintendent of schools evaluation.
nope, you
No,
have
we gotta
Oh.
go B and C.
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong page.
Yeah.
I forgot to print the new one.
Here.
There you
That's
go.
okay, I got it right here. All right, so, out-of-state field trip.
All right, so I got an update on this one that I just literally got before I walked in the door here. Isha Murphy, the coach of our cross-country team, has asked to take the cross-country team out of state. He just emailed me, literally, and said that he went and visited the site that he has on this, that I gave you here, and he has decided that he wants a different site. So here are the changes, and I just got them an email, and I apologize, I haven't had a chance to update this form for you. So, notice of change in dates. He would like to have the dates be from Friday, 8/20 to Sunday, what's that? Friday, 8/20 to 8/23 to Sunday, what the heck did I write? Friday, 8/20 to 8/23 to, that's what he has here, to Sunday, 8/22 to 8/25. Does that make sense?
So they would go Sunday
Sunday
now
through
till
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So he would go Sunday which is the 22nd, to Monday the 23rd, Tuesday the 24th, coming back Wednesday the 25th. That's the new date that he would like. And he wants to change the location from Lake Shaftesbury, Vermont, to White Lake, New Hampshire. Because he went up there and visited, he just, in his email explains, he visited the site at Lake Shaftesbury. You'll laugh at the email. He and his wife, when they were visiting it, got attacked by mosquitoes. I kid you not. And he then went and visited White Lake, New Hampshire, and felt like that was a far more pleasant place to be.
Okay.
I should read the email, but it's very,
So-
very clever.
Are they going for 2 nights or 1 night?
They're going from Sunday, 8/22,
Monday, Tuesday.
Monday,
and then
Tuesday,
Wednesday
Wednesday.
return.
Okay, got it.
8/22 to 8/25, and not going to Lake Shaftesbury, Vermont, going to White Lake, New Hampshire.
Okay.
I spoke with Kate today about this. She's in full support of it. We will ask students for either a negative COVID test or proof of vaccination before they go.
Great.
So,
I know in the past there have been concerns with other
Yeah, viruses. and-
viruses and issues with
It's,
lots of different things.
yeah, what was the name of that?
Triple E.
Zika?
Yeah,
Was it
Triple E.
Zika?
Yeah.
Triple E, that's
Yeah.
it.
Tick bites,
Right.
all of the above.
I think that's why when Isha went and was attacked by mosquitoes, I
Thank
sort
you.
of went, oh,
Yeah.
that was his experience
Rethink that.
one other time when the trip was canceled because of
Right.
Triple E, right? So
Okay.
that is in our mind, and he and the team will have to understand that if on August 22nd, the Delta variant or Zika virus is a risk, the trip would be canceled. Certainly, we hope not, but we always reserve the right and ability to do that.
Well, I would make a motion that we grant the cross-country team to travel to White Lake, New Hampshire on August 22nd through August 25th for the purpose of training and team building with Isha Murphy.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? Questions? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. That's my agenda that I didn't print. It's okay. Leave of absence request.
So I did speak with and met her beautiful new child. Melissa McManus has requested a year's leave of absence for next year. I support the request.
Is there a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve Melissa McManus's request for our leave of absence for the 2021-2022 school year.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Meg?
Meg Scata.
Okay, any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we move on to old business and the superintendent of schools evaluation and contract, which we'll be discussing in executive session, as well as our Board of Ed self-evaluation. We'll also begin that discussion in executive session. Moving on to committee reports. Is there a curriculum report?
No, no.
Policy.
Nothing yet on policy?
Personnel, we are hard at work, starting to negotiate some contracts. Nothing to report as of yet, other than we've opened negotiations with teachers. We're gonna be opening negotiations with the administrators, a little bit later this month. And, we hope to get those wrapped up by early September, correct?
That's the goal.
Okay, so we'll have a report. Buildings and grounds.
No report as of today, and no meeting planned. Excuse me, no meeting planned.
Conservation and Renewable Task Force.
No report.
Correct liaison.
The correct meeting was held last, let's see, June 16th, I believe. Just regular business, nothing earth-shattering to report.
Board of Selectmen.
Nothing significant.
Task Force on Solidarity.
They actually had their meeting tonight at the same time as this meeting, so.
Okay. Equity and Inclusion.
No, nothing to report.
Okay. Audience of Citizens.
No one at this time.
Okay. Board of Ed members' comments.
A couple of things. One is that CABE, the resolution committee met the other day, and we reviewed the legislative agenda that was approved at the convention, which was an online convention last year. We're working on some new resolutions, which include universal preschool, a standard pre-assessment for pre-kindergarten students, so that everybody coming into kindergarten, we have a pretty good idea of what their skill levels are before they come, and that seems to be a hot button. Marijuana was discussed. There were some other things about on-learning or remote learning that were discussed, and there's an opportunity for boards to submit resolutions to the committee. And Charles and I were talking earlier, it's very possible that we would be talking about remote days for snow days. And that would be a good resolution to bring before the Connecticut State Department of Education and also the state legislature, so that we keep our teachers skillful in that remote learning environment, and we end the school year when we say we're going to end it, not extend it till July 4th. So, so that might be a resolution that this board would consider, and I'll write it. I'll talk to Charles about it, and we will submit it to the committee at K.
To do what again?
To allow for remote learning for snow days. In other words, we did 3 snow days last year on our calendar, and then all the other snow days were remote. So we did end up school only 1 day later than we had originally planned, which was nice. It gave everybody a chance at the end of the year to do the end of the year business of the fiscal business, and then have kind of a gift of a few days off before summer school started. So, to be continued.
Any other comments?
Sure, I just wanted to note that since our last meeting, Portland held a Juneteenth event as well as a Pride rally in town, and both were such beautiful events. I was really happy to be able to attend both of them, and I especially wanted to thank Eric Martin for coming to the Juneteenth event and bringing his family. It was, I heard from so many parents, Portland parents, who saw him there, got to meet him in person, and they were just so delighted that our Director of Curriculum and Technology was present and in our community and there for that event.
That's nice.
So I just wanted to thank him for coming.
Any other?
Yeah, I would like to thank Drew for his presentation today. I know that as any community member, it's difficult to speak in front of people, and especially as a high school student. I know that took some courage to get up there and speak to us, so I wanted to thank him. I also want to say congratulations to Rob Raines, and I know he will be super missed in our district. Let's see. I also, totally unrelated, would like to discuss the possibility of hard copies of documents when we're here. That is something I really miss from my first days on the board, maybe a year and a half ago. I find that I'm either reading it off of, my flimsy little Chromebook or off of my phone, and it would just be, personally, I love having the paper and being able to mark and to highlight, so.
Consider it
I'll
done.
agree with that one.
Okay.
Consider it done.
Thank you.
I
That was
welcome you
super
to the
easy.
rank of old people who don't like to
I really prefer paper.
Yeah, that's me, all the way. I go through a lot of paper.
I hear lawyers do.
Well, most people, a lot of people are, they just do everything online, but I can't. I get a headache after a while. Okay, any other board member
Yeah,
comments?
just a quick
Dave?
question. I know Charles would have updated us if there's been any news, but what's the latest on the track?
I can give you that. From what I understand, it is going forward in, I can't really explain it well. Let me get you official how it works this way. But we did make a request to the legislature to put it on their bonding request. I gotta be completely honest, I'll have to get back to you. I know it's going through that way, but it's a different process, and maybe you know better than I do, than the regular bonding track that goes through, but it is on the agenda at the legislature. Beyond that, we're on the
Yeah.
list, somebody's list.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to report.
Is that something that's gonna be addressed during, like, the special session, or,
I don't know.
Special session.
or their whole bond, though, there's like a whole separate bond
He
commission,
addressed
isn't
it.
there?
I mean, is that something we can call like Christy Carpino and say, hey, what, guide us through this
We
process?
could.
It is, yeah.
Maybe, who's handling that? Is it Carl?
Why don't we, I'll tell you what, let me put that as an agenda item for
Sure,
the
that's
August
a good
meeting,
idea.
and then
Thank
I
you.
will give you real information, not what I.
That'd be good.
That sounds good.
I think, another thing that we may wanna just confirm at the August meeting is, a little bit more detail about, what we're looking at for reopening the schools,
Yeah,
just to
okay.
be clear with everyone. And,
It's very hard
make
to
sure
hear you.
everybody.
For what? Yeah, I
Like
can't.
I
the-
said, I asked to have the reopening schools on the agenda for August.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just so that we're all clear on what the plan is and how it's moving forward. And the acoustics in this room are a little difficult.
When the
It's
car
weird that the
kicks on,
fan-
it's like,
Yeah.
we can hardly hear you down over here.
And then the only question I have was, there was a committee formed to talk about how to spend the money that we got, and
Oh.
I don't know if that committee has
This committee has met.
met,
Yep.
but that would be a nice thing to hear about as well, if there's any firm plans.
Got it.
Okay.
That being said,
Any
you want
other
a motion?
items?
No?
So
Okay.
can I just go back and make sure I've got this? So for the August meeting, I will make sure we have track update on there, school reopening update, and E ESSR 3 grant update.
Yep, all that.
Anything else you wanted me to make sure I put on the agenda?
I don't think so, no. Let's confirm when that meeting is.
It's like
Is it the first?
no,
Is it the 10th?
I can tell you now.
August 10th or August 3rd?
No,
I switched calendars that I'm using on my phone and everything
August 10th is the next
disappears.
meeting. August 10th.
All right, so that'll be at our August 10th meeting.
Yeah.
And we only have one next month, or do we have two? No, it's one.
No, just one. August
So
10th.
you can't go around.
I'll be
What
coming
do you
back
must do?
from.
Break them up and-
That being said, you ready for a motion to go into
Yep.
executive
No.
session? I make a
Okay.
motion that we go into executive session at 8:04 and invite Dr. Britton to join us.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tim?
family edition.
To the full
Grandparents.
board, to
Nice.
extend the
We haven't seen my brother.
contract, the employment contract
He was there. They drove up to DC.
of Dr.
Really
Whitney
nice. So excited to see the
from
uncle.
July first,
A little confusing. My sister's
2021
my brother's girlfriend is also Brooke.
June
So that
thirtieth,
was a little fun.
2024.
Brooke, not you, the other Brooke.
Oh, we're all
Oh,
set?
oh,
Look
hi.
at- oh, there we
There you
are.
are. Now you can look at yourself.
Okay, so we are back from executive session, and there's one item we're gonna take action on. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to the full board to extend the employment contract of Dr. Charles Britton for July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2024.
Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second.
Any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you, Dr. Britton.
Congratulations.
There you go.
Excited. Excited.
And now, a motion to adjourn, and a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll get that
And
stuff.
the time is now 8:41.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good.
8:41.
All righty.
Look at that good-looking group over
Alright.
there.